Hi, I'm Colton, and this is Cold Classic. This is a place where I talk about anything that holds my interest, and since I stopped taking Adderall, it's really hard. Today, I'm going to be joined by Sean, who until very previously was a coworker of mine for 3.5 years. I did walk out of my job, and I might talk more about that later, but this is Sean, and today we are just going to talk about, I don't know.
Oh no, I know exactly what
We're
you're
we're
talking
we're
about.
gonna we're gonna we're gonna get into a little list of things that he's kept that I've said that he thought was funny. Hopefully this is entertaining to people. If not, I'm so sorry.
For reference, yeah, we met about coming up on what, 3 years now?
About three, yeah.
Yeah, about 3 years. Yeah. We met at our now old job. We worked at a live theater. And I think the first impression I had of you, like you had a it was a cranberry song stuck in your head. Um
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was that, and you were singing that, like, the whole time, and, like, we weren't even really, like, talking about, like, anything other than just, like, "Oh, yeah, like, do this. This is, like, what to expect from the job," but, yeah, as it progressed, like, we bonded over our, like, love movies, and then, like, we just got, like, we were there for, like, a longer period of time that, like, everybody's true colors started, like, coming out, and Colin just started saying some absolutely evocative stuff, and, I've got a nice little list here that I've affectionately called "Shit Colton Says," and so I thought it would just be good to just go down the list and just, like, maybe elaborate on,
Just a few of the things.
yeah. So the one that made me start this, and I don't know why I got this, was, the very first one was we were talking about, like, Scooby-Doo, and we got, like, really, like, heated about this
Oh yeah.
conversation, because it's important, like, this, and we got on the topic of Scrappy-Doo, as one does, and, like, I just remember you were so this is point 1, you were really passionate about this when you said it, and it was, "Scrappy-Doo always starting shit, like, bitch, we're already in a tough situation."
And that's true because Scrappy Doo's always trying to fight somebody. They're already in a haunted house
Mhm,
where they think it's haunted.
mhm.
Um, and Scrappy Doo's always just trying to like start some shit, get into a fight, make it worse. We're already in a tough situation, and I stand by that.
You were saying it as if, like, you were there and had been, like, personally inconvenienced by this small dog.
I know Scrappy Doo is like a point of contention with Scooby Doo fans, and typically I think I'm a little more forgiving to him. Uh, I like the idea of like another dog. But yeah, he's been kind of he's a wild one for sure, and he's caused more trouble than he's helped.
He's a controversial figure. So that was point 1, that's what started this whole thing, and then from there, it just kinda escalated and devolved. This next one is shopping on Amazon for men's clothes is like being in Hiroshima. What you were looking for, like, pants, like,
Oh yeah, you can't order men's clothes on Amazon. I don't know, it's just all super outdated and it looks really cheap and I don't know. I still believe that. I mean, if you look up like men's clothes right now, it's probably like a bunch of like super baggy pants, or like the shirts with like the hoodies that go down to your
what
knees.
yeah,
And
really,
it's just not I don't know, it's ridiculous.
it's like being in Hiroshima.
And the craziest like models too. It'll be like a picture of like this super like buff guy,
Mhm,
or it's like super tight pants
mhm,
walking down the street. And I don't know. I just don't think anybody wants this.
mhm.
Um, but I mean, I guess they do if it keeps showing up on the front
I
page.
guess so. None of the models actually look like they wanna be there. They're all very, like, stern, very
Stern,
serious.
yeah,
They're having a bad day.
yeah.
So, point 3, where we grew up is the only place you see houses on wheels and cars on blocks.
I don't know. I don't think I have to elaborate anymore on that. Coming from a small town in Kentucky, um, of course you have full of trailers and then just anybody's broken down car in their driveway on the road, you're just sitting on like cinder blocks or something. So
There's quite a bit of, Kentucky,
Kentucky stuff. Okay, yeah. You know what?
a lot of Harlan County.
A lot of this stuff is just as surprising to me when I say it.
Mm.
I really am not someone who thinks before I speak, so I do think that a lot of this is probably just off the dome.
This was all off the dome. I think there are very few of these, like, looking through it where I'm just like,
No,
you knew that I was gonna write it down. And it's not like I have the phone out. A lot of these are like, he says some shit, I have to say, wait 1 second, and then pull out my phone, type it down. Like this one. My dad had a gator as a pet. They had to release it because it was getting too big.
Yeah.
I said, "Where'd he keep it?" And you go, "In the bathtub. My uncle had piranhas."
Yeah.
And then refused to. You didn't elaborate any further than that. Like, this is just like another day.
I don't know if there's any way I can elaborate. That's just like a story I heard my entire life. And
Your uncle had carnivorous freshwater fish. The gator one is like, at least it's like the American South, but like, piranhas are not like, those aren't native.
I want to say they got the gator at like a flea market in Tennessee.
Mhm.
Because you go there and like I would go to like a bunch of these when I was kids, and they would have like a lot of farm animals, chickens, or like puppies or kittens for sale. I've probably seen some crazy animals there. I don't know if I've ever seen a gator, but I believe it. There was a pet store in my town that had a rattlesnake.
Mhm. I mean, there's a few animal ones on here. Another one is right beneath this one. Because I think that this was the same. We were going to like a trivia night or something, and like we got there like an hour early, and like we were like talking, like waiting for it to start. So you drop that one, and then you go straight into. I went to a livestock auction in Tennessee once with my grandparents. That's where they got their emu.
Yeah,
Yeah, Billy Bob and Gertrude. They both ran away and got killed.
they did. No, they had these big giant, and I was little, so they were huge. They looked like dinosaurs. Billy Bob and Gertrude. I'm assuming they knew the gender. I don't know. Uh, they just had them on their farm with their regular other animals. And I just know that they got out, and I just remember hearing that one of the neighbors got scared and shot them. Both on separate occasions.
They're big, intimidating birds.
They're
huge. Emus are scary.
Yeah.
They're cool, but like
Yeah, feeding them, it was scary.
it. Yeah. This one isn't necessarily like I was born in the road, baby. That's very classic. Um,
Yeah.
another Kentucky one here. We had a night at school where all the football players would dress up and serve pizza, and that was honestly one of the worst nights of my life.
Yeah, okay, so this is my first job. I worked at Pizza Hut in high school. Um, and it was I made $2.15 an hour, and they're supposed to make it up if you don't get, like, good tips to pay you, like, minimum wage, which is still $7.25, hadn't changed. Uh, and, like, they would do this, like, benefit where, like, the football team would come in, and I was also working that night, so I was kind of in charge of them, and they were just causing trouble, just making a ruckus, and it was one of the most stressful nights of my life. The next day at school, I was in, Megan Fryer's, history class, great teacher, love her bad. Um, and I was, like, falling asleep in class, and she sent me to the principal's office out of concern. I sat down with the principal, and he was like, "We gotta find you another job." And then I quit, and I worked at Panda Garden for Joyce Chang. Love Joyce.
Panda Garden.
Panda Garden.
Okay. I don't think I've ever heard of that chain.
It's not a chain.
Oh,
She just made it.
Oh, I see.
She bought her house in cash
Really?
in a suitcase.
That's how you know it was legit.
Yeah. It's like she brought cash
What do you Where do you think she got the money?
from her business.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah,
Panda Garden?
she also runs, like, marathons every day.
Oh, really?
She's in incredible shape, and she's probably, like, 60. She's in her 60s for sure.
I mean, honestly, like, I feel like that's like a I feel like if you've been doing it, like, long enough, like, your body is kinda, like, acclimated
So,
to
yeah.
it, and that way, like, even when you get up to, like, 60 or something, like, marathons, like,
Yeah, she posts the
Prob
craziest thing on Facebook
or
all the time.
just like, "Oh, here's the."
She's, like, calling her daughter a
Hey.
bitch and stuff, which is just really funny for, like, my town. Like, people say crazy things, but, like, she's, like, a very well-known person in my, like, home. She won, like, Harlan County of the Year a few years back.
Have you ever tried to win that?
No.
I feel like if you go back with, like, your stories from San Diego, you might, like,
Be.
you might have a chance,
Could be.
might have a chance. Um, me and my bu my my papa Larry's 3rd wife, Patty, could play the piano like no one's business.
Yeah.
Um, oh, no, I think this might actually be, and I quote this all the time, I think this is my favorite thing you've ever said, which was, "I never drive drunk unless I have to get home."
I'm not gonna elaborate on this one at all, and it's not true, but it's a funny joke and nothing else.
I think because we were going out that night, I think, and, like, we were just like, "Alright, well, you get in the Ubers or whatever," and you're just like, "Mm." This one was another one. This was a Christmas. You came over for Christmas, to my house.
Yeah.
I had family Christmas with Colton here. And like we were talking about like, oh, how was your 20, we were talking about 2025 in retrospect, and we were just like, 2025 kind of sucked. And you're just like, it's okay. The year of the snake's almost over. Then it's the year of the horse. I say, what does that mean? You go horse, and I'm just like, okay, but what does that mean? It's the year of the horse. Okay, Colton, but what does that mean? Horse go,
Horse go.
horse go. And I think about that one a lot too.
Yeah.
Um. Oh goodness.
Yeah, I speak a lot of nonsense, but I have one important thing to say every day.
You also said you remind me of my stepmom's autistic son. You told that to me.
Yeah.
And I think that was during like we hosted a karaoke night, or we hosted a few actually, at our work. And that was like we were like setting up with a friend, and you dropped that one, and then immediately afterward we were trying to find like a backdrop for like what to put on in the background, just for like aesthetically pleasing, and you put on Looney Tunes,
Of
and
course.
I was like, so like you were running the bar, and I was like DJing, and I look up and I realize it's not Looney Tunes anymore. It's like weird like flash animation like Tom and Jerry. And I go over and I'm just like, did you change the channel? And you're just like, yeah, I told our coworker Gwen to turn off Looney Tunes because I was afraid something racist was gonna pop up.
Yes. No, it was like the old school Looney Tunes, and you just never know. Like, if we're trying to like foster like a nice environment here at the karaoke, and you just don't know sometimes. You've seen some of the images and the clips.
It's like, yeah, I don't know. Like, at my other bar where I work, we put on anime sometimes, and like specifically when it comes to something like Dragon Ball or something, you got to be very careful. One, like you up, you might see something you don't want the other people seeing. This was another one. This is the last entry I have, but there's a lot more that I'm kind of just skimming here. This is like this page goes on. And you said going down the sugar daddy pipeline is fascinating because it feels like I'm clocking in.
Yeah, I dipped my toes in the water there. Um,
It was a business venture.
it was a business venture. It ended abruptly, but it was fine. It was for the best.
Um, so we were playing the song Habits Stay High. And I think
I know what you're gonna say.
and you're just like, I had a bus driver whose husband died and she wouldn't stop playing this song
On the bus, on the school bus.
on the school bus. Honestly, I hope she's doing good.
I hope she's okay. I didn't really know her. I know she was nice. Like, I think she was going through something, and she had a special connection to that song.
Right after we were talking about like, people coming over to visit you here in San Diego.
Yeah.
And
Oh God.
another one is, man, my dad's estranged brother made it over here. What's your excuse? Fucking Clark.
Mind you, Clark, I've met a few times in my life. He was here for the Cisco Live thing. Like, he worked for Cisco.
Oh yeah.
And he was gonna be in town, and it's like I just didn't really know him well. He was trying to stay in my apartment, which was a studio. I was like, I don't know, Clark. I think you should get your own hotel. Yeah.
Oh, dude. A lot of these here kind of have to like do with work. So like
We can give a little context.
we could give a little context, and like we've got like feel free in the editing process to cut out anything you don't want me saying
That's
here.
fine.
So we're just gonna go down and just say all the ones where I'm just like, should I say that?
I'll make a note. I'll make a
I'll
note.
make a there was one of our coworkers who doesn't work in like the same like sort of branch as us. They work in kind of like above us and like the admin. And like anytime there was like an office party or something, they knew how to party. Like they could get down.
Oh, drunk every time.
Drunk
Showed
every
up drunk.
Showed up drunk,
And then was enjoying the free like alcohol. For so long, they let us serve alcohol to it was just kind of something they looked past. This is before they got really strict and annoying about things, but they would let us give like alcohol to the workers, like if we're friends, like it was just kind of something that wasn't really kept track of well. So we would just have a blast, but this man would show up drunk every time. He was kind of an important guy.
Yeah. And that was that was
There were like some emails sent out about like,
yeah.
if you're drinking at events, like, it's like kind of tone it down. This is like a frat guy too. He's like frat guy, like works at like a theater with like a bunch of like creative people or like whatever. And he's just like this frat guy who's there.
And I think it was just in, like, regards to, like, I'm trying to, like, gauge the context on this one because there's not a lot of, like there's not a lot of, like, reference on this one. It's just, this one just says, "Good thing I had my mop ready." And so I can only assume it was in regards to, someone spilling something while we were on the clock. Um,
Getting a mop ready.
Good thing I had my mop ready. You came up with the mop, you were gone, and you come out of the elevator, like, with it, and I was just like,
Oh, with the new place?
"That's a new person." I'm just like, "Dude, you didn't even, like" I didn't even, like, see you leave, but you had, like, gone down and, like, filled it up.
I thought you were talking about the older, location.
Oh, no, 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 we didn't have a mop at
No, I
the
was gonna
location.
say, like, we did not have a mop. We had a water hose.
We did have a water hose.
I did
A few times they
did
asked you, like yeah.
spray down the little place behind it was like an outdoor bar, and we had to spray it down because, like, somebody would have pooped. I cleaned up, like, human feces, like, multiple times working there.
In
Pee, whatever.
yeah, there were a few times where, like so, like, because it's, like, a live theater, like, when there's no show going on, you, like there's just the building isn't really, like, being used except, like, when they're building the set, and, like, some, like, the admin work or box office or something, you know? So this little, like, outdoor theater was just it was, like, exposed to the elements, so we had a really bad bug problem.
Horrible, but we had the worst spider problem.
Yeah, we'd have to, like, go in and, like, do, like, deep cleaning before the show, but, like, in regards to that, like, it was also just in, like, an area where, like, just, like, crazy
Some
people
sketchy individuals.
sketchy individuals.
Very sketchy encounters there. Like, there was that one guy who, like, came up, he had, like, the ostomy hole. Oh my god, that was so gross. He was, like, throwing shit out of our trash can.
Oh, right, I remember that,
He
yeah.
somebody like, he started, like, I don't know if he attacked this woman, but, like, he, like, went up to her and her boyfriend, like, pushed him into the tree. It was crazy.
I remember that, yeah, because he was causing a problem at us, like, ripping out the taking the trash out and, like, throwing it all over the patio, and, like, Colton goes up and he's just like, "Hey, buddy, gotta you gotta go."
Tell him to stop.
You went up and told him to stop, and, like, I was just, like I was, like, watching the back, and, like, he actually, like listened to what you said, and he turned around and walked away, but, like, we'd look over and, like, yeah, he got into a fight, like, a little ways down the road, and, like, we saw it, and some guy just, like, launched him into the road.
Yeah.
There was also the dude who showed up for one of our opening nights, anytime that happens, it's like a big deal. It's like most of the staff is there, big parties. Everything's like, everything's
Oh,
happening.
yeah, baby.
We had like and I'm really bummed because this was like one of the opening nights that I just like was not there for. And like some like crazy guy had like shown up to this outdoor patio and was just kind of standing by the bar. Um I forget you were there for that when this
I
happened.
don't think I saw this, but I know what you're talking
He,
about.
like he apparently, like, stood by the bar and was just, like just kinda hanging out there and just, like, just chilling, and he was there the whole time, but, like, nobody could really tell if he was, like, seeing the show or not, and then when the show started and he was, like, still kinda just, like, hanging out, like, then they realized, like, "Oh, wait, no, this is just, like he's just tweaking?" So, like, he
Mhm.
once everybody goes in and, like, everybody's still hanging out on the patio because you have to keep an eye on the bar, make sure nothing happens, he, like, goes over to the tree that's over the bar, this big you know, like really like like covered the whole like theater, covered the bar, big old tree. And he was like going up and he's like touching it, he's like examining it. And everybody's like watching him and they're just like, should we call someone? Should we tell him to leave? And they're just like, well, he's technically not like bothering anybody.
Yeah.
And then like they call, like, the non-emergency line for, like, the park where this theater was, and they're just like, "Hey, there's, like, some guy who's just hanging out," and they're just like, "Well, is he hurting anybody? Is he harassing?" And they're just like, "No," and they're just like, "Well, keep an eye on it. Let us know if he does." As they're finishing this call, they look over and the dude's in the tree.
I was not here for this.
You don't remember this?
He was in the tree?
Yeah, 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 yeah. And once again, this is all coming, like, I didn't this was, like he's in the tree and, like, moving around the branch, and the branch goes over the theater. So he could have gone, like, hopped onto the roof and, like, crawled around, and it's just, like, it's an older building. Like, there's a decent
Oh, it
chance,
was
like, if
old.
he stepped in the wrong spot, he coulda, like, come
Busted down.
come through. I mean, that's just, like, conjecture, but, he was there, and, like, the staff goes out, and it's just like, "Hey," like or, like, the bartenders that are out there, they're just like, "Hey, dude, can you, like, get down?" And he was saying I think he said something along the lines of, like, "Fuck all of y'all. This is a money tree. This is mine?" And, like, they're, like now they're calling the non-emergency line, and they're just like, "Alright, hey, he's, like, in the tree. This, like, might get dangerous?" And so, like, it just so happens that, like, at this time, one of the staff members had come out of the theater from seeing the show, and they were, like, in tech, and they come out just to, like, hang out and talk to us, because they'd seen the show a million times. And they, like, explain the situation just like, "Hey, look, there's, guy in the tree or whatever." And they go over and they, like, kinda, like, squint, and they're the funniest person ever. They're so funny. They, like, go over while all this is happening, and they're just like, "Hey, buddy, what's going on?" And they're just like, "I'm not coming down." And then they're just like, "Well, like, like, can we talk about it? It's, like, dangerous. Like, do you want some water or something?" And he's just like, "Yeah, I could go for some water." And the stat, like, genius IQ move. They're just like, "Well, I can't go up there and give you water. You gotta come down and get it,"
Yeah.
you know?
Fuck, smart.
And it was genius. And then he came down, got the water, and he left. And it was, like, only after the guy had left did, like, the actual, like, park, like, the rangers or whatever, like, they showed up to, like, do whatever. And
Yeah.
it's like, dude, you're, like, 20 minutes after the fact. Like, so we would get a lot of that. But yeah, a lot of color.
I thought you were gonna tell the story about, I mean, it's not a long story, but the guy who just, like, ran up and, like, took a bottle of Jack Daniels and ran away.
Oh
That was a big deal.
Oh my gosh, there was the oh my gosh, yeah, he came up while one of our coworkers, just call him K, he was, like, setting up the bar, and this kid was really funny, he's great, he had a very deadpan, like, way of, like, talking about things. So, like, he was, like, setting up the bar, and, like, this guy comes up and is just like, "Hey, what's going on here?" And then he's just like, "Oh, it's like a live theater, we're just, like, setting up the bar." And he's like, as he's, like, explaining it, he, like, grabs the bottle of, like, Makers or Jack or whatever, and is, like, looking at the whiskey, and he's just like, "Hmm, cool." Tips his head back, takes a shot of it,
Oh,
puts it down, looks Kay dead in the eye, and Kay's just like, "Dude." And then the guy turns around and walks away, and we're just like, "Well, fuck." And he comes in, and it's just like, "Yeah, so, like, some homeless guy just, like, took a shot of whiskey and left."
yeah.
And we had to, like, go in and, like, file a report basically.
There was a lot of crazy stuff happened there looking back. What was on the tip of my tongue?
Yeah, there were a lot of them, and a lot of these kinda happened, like, when we were there.
It was just the Wild West in Old Town where we were. We moved to, like, this super nice building, which the theater could not afford, and they're still trying to make up for it. But, back then, there was, like, not so much oversight, and just a lot happened. It was just in a funny part of town.
Which is, like, it had been there for a while.
Really,
So, like,
yeah.
these were, like, routines that had been, like, that was it was just a funny part of town. We'd been there for a while, and it just, like, I think at that point, it's just, like, the building definitely was kinda, like, showing its age and, like, what they were going for. But yeah, we moved into, like, a nicer spot. And so, like, once we actually moved there, I started keeping this little list of, like, things that you were saying, but, like, the shit that you were saying, like, extended, like, way past that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I surprise myself. When I say something out loud, I'm finding out what it is, like, when everybody else is too.
Got that impulsive, like, in this was another one, like, okay, we're going back to Scrappy Doo here, it looks like. We were discussing, like, people, like, on, like, Instagram or TikTok that'll, like, do, like, To Catch a Predator style, like,
Yeah.
um,
Scrappy Doo.
Scrappy in regards to Scrappy Doo. And, like, you were saying, like, how Scrappy Doo is always starting shit. This was one of the things that you said that, like, I'm just like, "What the hell?" And you're just like, in regards to faking a Catch a Predator scenario, that's what Scrappy should have been doing, like, to, like, get these, like, monsters or whatever. And then you also, like, double down after that, and you're just like, "No, that I take that back. That's how you end a friendship.
Oh, that is
That's
how.
the nuclear
No,
option."
it's like a I've seen, like, videos where they're, like, pranking their friend, they're in, like,
Mhm.
Walmart together, and they're like, "This man's here to meet a 13-year-old boy." And it's just like, "Oh my god," like, that's such a horrible prank to do to somebody. It's like, "Here, stop this man," like,
As you said here, the nuclear option.
it's for
That
sure a nuclear option.
that one, like, that's another one of, like, the Coltonisms that, like, I think I say on, like, the daily, like, just, like, that specific, like, phrasing of it.
Yeah.
What else we got here?
That's a cold classic, baby.
That's a cool classic, baby. Show. Um, Me and my buddy Ethan put our shrooms on a 6-inch Subway sandwich. We went out to Lake Reba and had a great time.
Yeah. That was my first time doing shrooms. Um It was like just the straight mushroom. We didn't do anything to it. We just put it on the sandwich and ate it. It was a great experience.
I mean, I think
And then I had my bad trip that one night we went to the emo night. Oh, it was a horrible night.
oh my gosh, this is a cult class.
This is a cold class.
This was like one of the first times like we were all like hanging out like afterwards. So like there's an emo night at like a bar down here where we live, and we were all hanging out, and Colton like pre-gamed. So like, you were having like, drinks before you got there. You brought a pen, and then you also had the chocolate bar, like the Hershey's chocolate.
I bought this on the street by another bar I frequent. And that guy's out there still. He sells these chocolate bars with like shrooms in them. And on the back it'll tell you like how much like each square is worth, or like, and I don't. It was just the classic story of I thought I was taking a microdose and it turned out it wasn't.
You ate like half the bar.
Oh yeah, because
You you took like half the bar. So like I can't remember if you had been to emo night before that point.
I had.
You had?
Oh yeah, I knew what I
Okay.
was getting into.
You knew what you were getting into, and like, I don't know, maybe that's like where like the confidence came from.
Yeah.
But like the first thought I had was like, this is a small, like kind of divey bar with like a little performance stage, very dark, very enclosed space, very loud, and like flashing lights everywhere. So like naturally I'm just like, oh, this is an interesting place to go do shrooms, you know?
Yeah.
We get there, you get a drink, and you're taking hits from like a pen,
Yeah.
and I'm just kind of like, ooh, let's rewind this. Let's talk about this, and we're all hanging out, we're all having a good time, me and some other us and some other coworkers, and we look around, we cannot find you anywhere. You're
Oh, no.
gone.
Oh no.
You like, and we're just like, hey, has anybody seen Colton? And I think you had texted one of our coworkers that like, oh, I'm just like on the back patio, I just need some air. And at that time, I'm just like, no, I don't think so. And then you call me, you text me, and you're just like, um, can you come outside right now? And I'm just like, oh, geez. So like, I'm just like, hey, what's going on? Like, we finally go outside, and like, you've got this like, like you look like a kid that like just broke something. Like, you have this big smile on your face, like hands in front of your head, and you're just like, hey, what's going on? And we're just like, what's going on, Cole? And you're just like, I think I'm having a bad trip. And so like we're just like, all right, no worries, no worries. Let's just like get you let's just hang out. We'll hang out with you, Um we get you back to your car, and you're just like, I think I need to go to the hospital. And we're just like, dude, Colton, I don't think you need to go to the hospital. You're just having a really bad trip. And you're just like, no, I think I'm dying. I think I'm dying.
You hear people say that, like, "Oh, I thought I was gonna die." Like, I thought I was. I had to, like, after I left the bar, mind you, I thought I was taking a microdose, and all of a sudden I was like, "Oh, that wasn't." Uh, and then I had to like go and watch the YouTube videos where they're like, "Everything's fine. You're not gonna die. You just took too much. You smoked too much weed or too much shrooms or something. You're gonna be okay." And it did make me feel better.
It made a difference, and, like, I remember I'm just like, "All right, Colton, are you hungry? We'll, like, we'll get some food in your system, maybe that'll help," and so, like, we're walking back past the bar, and they're playing "I'm Not Okay" by My Chemical Romance,
And I wasn't.
and I, like, listen, and I'm just like, "You fuckers," And so, like, by this point, our other coworker who had come out, she went back she went back into the bar, and, like, so we get the chicken, and we're going back. We realize we can't open your car door because Cece had, she'd taken your keys.
Rightfully.
Right, which is, like, a
so.
good idea because, like, we were afraid you were gonna, like, take the keys and, like, drive to the hospital, And I, like so I have to, like, go back inside and find her telling Colton, "Stay here, don't move," So, like, you're sitting by, like, the thing, like, watching your little, like, YouTube video. It's like fucking like Coco Melon or some shit.
Yeah.
And I go in, we get the keys, we, like, pop in, and, like, we unlock the car, we take the keys back, and we're just like, "All right, you're just gonna, like, stay here, like, an hour, just watch the video, breathe. We'll have our phone on us if you need us," sort of thing, We're in there for an hour, I'm like, we're texting you, everything seems fine, I go to the bathroom, I come back, you're at the table in the bar, like, hanging out with everyone, and I think I said, "Dude, get the fuck back to your car." Like, I'm just, dude, this is not this environment. You're just like, "No, no, no, it's okay. I think I'm coming down." And I'm just like, "Dude, like, no, this." If you thought you were dying, go sit in your car and drink water.
Yeah, that was the last time I did shrooms. I don't know if I'm ever gonna go down that path again.
I just like at least not to the extent that like you did, because it was multiple things. Like it was a bad location. You mixed shrooms, weed, and alcohol.
Well, what I'm thinking is that I was planning on taking a microdose and being like, you know, I'm not gonna have like a trip. I'm just gonna kind of enjoy the music a little more, like, and it was just a bad combo. Bad combo. It was just a bad idea.
It was just a bad move. Yeah, that was we went
You know, it's fun though when you're not on shrooms.
yeah, it's been a while. I think the last time we all went was the last time
When we
all of us
we went to the
was
beach
in
one,
July.
it was like a year ago.
Yeah, that was in July.
And
Yeah. Uh, mm, and yeah, we had a good time, but yeah, trying to think if there were any other like party mishaps that have happened um since we've hung out, and I can't like not really nothing to that extent anyway.
no, not to that extent.
No, that
It's
is
a mini and emo night though.
how many did we end up going to? There were a few, because like I used to go to those with an old friend group, and then once we started working at the theater, then we went and we started going with the coworkers, and it's just like I think the last one I went to was in November. But yeah.
I'm kind of over it.
Oh, it was fun while
It was fun. It was fun while it lasted. I don't know. It just I feel like the same thing every time. I'd rather go somewhere else.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, but I mean, I guess the same could be said about like most like clubs.
That's fair.
They're gonna be playing like their bangers.
That's fair, but
Uh,
it's also like the crowd of people that comes to emo nights,
mhm.
just some cantankerous individuals. Yeah, I mean, and a lot of them stink.
Oh my,
You're truly so packed in there. It's just kind of hard to. It's hard. I don't know. It is kind of fun though.
there was one dude who had like really long black hair.
Sweaty hair. His hair was soaked with sweat. Oh my god.
Like in a black like tank top. He was going hard. He was having a great night.
Yeah.
Super like very sweaty individual, and like when he was like going for it, his hair, this thing, it was like fucking 2 feet long or something, would whip around and like literally like got whipped a few times in the face by this like ripping hair.
I remember that. I did too.
That was the worst. I think like oh my God, yeah, I had to take like an everything shower after that.
Everything shower.
Yeah, we did a few of that, but I think like recently we went out downtown, and like there were a few places that we went to that I was just like, I mean, you're getting basically like the same experience, but it's just like a different like atmosphere. You're going for like the music, if you like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't like EDM, so
Yeah.
I kind of have to hear words
Yeah.
that I know
Something like sing
because
along.
I can't really dance. So I just kind of like need something to kind of bebop around to and sing.
Is anybody really like truly dancing?
I don't know. I've seen some people do it.
I was like, I do vividly remember we went out for my birthday, a big like group of us, and I was like, like basically ballroom dancing with like one of the people that we went to, and like I was just like, I think that was the most I ever like danced, but oh my God, I was gone.
No, there was every now and then though, like I feel like I hit a streak, like a 30-second, like wow, I think I kind of was dancing pretty good right there.
Mhm.
This last when I went out for my friend Eddie's birthday,
Mhm.
there was this girl he knew that was there. I was really drunk for this. And she was like, she was being honest. I could tell she was like, "You can really dance," and I was like, "I've never heard that in my life before, and I don't
Mhm.
believe it." Um, and it's not true. But I don't know. Every now and then, clock is right. Wrong. Wait, what's the clock thing? A broken clock is right 2 times a day. Yeah. So though I don't know. Every now and then, there's like an infinite number of like moves that you're hitting. Eventually, you're gonna hit like a nice little stride.
You'll strike
It's like
gold.
the what they say about like if there was like a monkey in space with a typewriter for infinity, eventually it would like type out everything in order.
It would type Shakespeare, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you had a bunch of
perfectly.
monkeys with typewriters, it would eventually write Hamlet or something.
That's me.
It Eventually, yeah, I was gonna say eventually you strike gold. Like, hey man, sometimes the stuff you say, every now and then you'll say something that's like really profound.
Yeah.
And like no, I think this actually was like the most profound thing that you have said.
Let's hear it.
And it was like we were hanging out, we were hanging out with another one of our coworkers, and like we were watching Night of was it Cocaine Beer or Night of the Seven Kingdoms? It was one of the 2, one of the 2. Anyway, you had brought out, like, a literal, like, jug of, like, either, like, a lager or something, you know, like, it's like,
Yeah.
the like, a decently sized, like, milk jug worth
Yeah.
of beer, you
I
know?
got that when I worked at the brewery.
Mhm. And you had poured yourself, like and, you know, you were drinking, and I look over, you know, we're a few hours into the night, and, like,
Yeah.
he had drank, like, almost the entire thing, you know? This
I'm like
massive
such an alcoholic. I don't drink that much.
I
But I
mean
did that night. I did
yeah,
have my I have my moments.
I mean, like, look, it was literally just like a 5% like lager or whatever. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like it really wasn't like anything crazy. And I look over and like this jug's almost gone. You know, there's still like an inch or two left in there. And I'm just like, oh my God, there's only that much left. And you look over and you're just like, see, it's crazy that you said that because when I looked and I saw it, I'm just like, wow, I still have so much. And you turn to me and you're just like, "Sean, I think this is like a learning moment." Like, that was like the difference between half glass full, half glass empty, you
Yeah,
know?
that was I caught that one. It was the exact scenario that had to happen for I just saw so much and you saw so little.
And it genuinely was like I think of all the times, like, we've hung out and, like, you know, we've talked about, like, deep stuff and, like, you know, like, you've given me advice, you know, we've talked about stuff like this, and, like, I still think that that was, like, the most profound thing you've ever, like, said, and it helped because you had, like, this, like, literal visual
Yeah.
representation of what you were saying.
Yeah.
Um,
I say one important thing every day.
I say one important thing every day. That's another classic. I
Yeah,
should put that.
that's like certified gold classic.
That's the show.
Well, thank you for joining me on this very new type of content that I'm trying out here. This was Sean. We're
Alright.
now just friends after not being coworkers anymore. Um, if you're listening on YouTube or Spotify, uh, like and subscribe, whatever it is on the platform. I'm also on TikTok. I'm on anything else that you listen to podcasts on. I just talk about things I like and I bring people on and we talk about whatever. So thank you for joining us. See you next time.